So, hello and welcome to another episode of The Savvy Entrepreneur. Today, we have a real treat for you. We have Katie and Nicole from the Office of Economic Development. We'll be discussing a wide range of topics from international trade to domestic advanced industries. So, without further ado, here's Katie to give you a brief overview of what the Office of Economic Development does.
Yeah, good morning, Tallis. It's really great to be back on the podcast. My name is Katie Woslager, and I run the Advanced Industry Program for the Office of Economic Development and International Trade, which is part of the Global Business Development Division. And just for those of you who don't know, the Colorado Office of Economic Development and International Trade creates a positive business climate that encourages dynamic economic development and sustainable job growth. And I'd also just like to turn it over to my colleague, Nicole, so she can introduce herself.
Hi everyone, glad to be here. My name is Nicole Gunkle and I work with Katie as well on the Global Business Development team at OEDIT. I focus primarily on getting Colorado businesses to export their products and services internationally.
See, I find that fascinating. I didn't know that the Office of Economic Development did international trade. So fill me in.
Yes, so unlike a federal agency like the Department of Commerce, the Office of Economic Development and International Trade in Colorado focuses just on getting Colorado companies direct links to international markets. Recently we've had outdoor recreation companies going to Germany, we've had aerospace companies going to Australia, we've had bioscience companies breaking into the United Kingdom, and then food and agricultural companies going to Latin America and Asia.
Wow, it's really striking how important and how impactful Colorado is, not just within the United States, but globally.
Yes, and I think one thing that people often forget is 95% of the world's buying power is outside of the United States. So it's really important that people think about taking their items, whether it's a product or service, to a different market to reach new consumers.
Absolutely, and it brings in wealth to our state, improving our overall quality of life.
Yes, it does. The more that a company can sell, the more revenue they're making, the more Coloradans they can have. So when a company can take their products abroad, they're selling more, they're able to invest more back into Colorado, they're able to hire more staff here and invest more back into their community.
Wow, that's really cool that you guys have such a overarching program that impacts so many parts of Colorado business. Speaking of Colorado business, let's switch gears a little bit to the AI grant program. I know that the AI grants have opened up recently. Katie, let's talk about when the application deadline is.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do currently have a funding cycle that's open. It opened on January 1st, and the deadline is March 1st at 5 o'clock p.m. And just as a reminder, we have 3 funding stages. One primarily that we're focused on right now is our early stage capital and retention, where companies can receive $250,000. And then also our proof of concept, which is run through our technology transfer offices at the universities. And applicants can receive up to $150,000.
That's so cool. And being a part of the judging process last time around, I learned so much. I have to say that your organization is so well organized and managed. That grant process was so seamless. So I really have to commend you guys on really getting your organization in place.
Thanks, Tallis. It's definitely a group effort. My colleague Rama Harris also works on the program, and certainly rounding up all of our review teams for the vetting process it's definitely something that we value and are extremely appreciative of our volunteers that review for the program. So thank you.
And I was surprised how many volunteers. There was a whole lot of people on those calls, a lot of really, really smart people.
Yeah, we convene business, technical, and financial experts, all of which are subject matter experts in each of the 7 advanced industries, which are advanced manufacturing, aerospace, bioscience, electronics, energy and natural resources, infrastructure engineering, and technology and information. So In total, our last review cycle, we had over 110 reviewers participate. We also had remarks from the governor, who also addressed the group, so it was great to have him be involved in the program as well.
So what are the stats in the last round, Katie?
Yeah, so we actually had a really great review cycle last time in terms of submissions. We did fund 37 companies for a total of 7.7 million. We're also looking forward to this upcoming cycle where we anticipate funding around $7 million as well.
Wow. That is so important to these businesses, especially in a time of COVID. That $7 million is going to go a long way for those businesses. So you guys are doing some great stuff. So Nicole, Katie's not the only one giving out big checks. You guys are as well, right?
Yes, we are. So through our state trade expansion program, also known as STEP, we give out export grants for small Colorado businesses who are doing business internationally.
How does one qualify for that?
Yeah, so there's a few qualifications to meet the STEP program. You do have to be a small business. And generally we say if you're under 200 employees, you are small. If you're over 200 employees, there is a way for us to check what your next code is and making sure that you don't have a higher threshold for your particular industry. You do have to be Colorado located, so either your headquarters here or 50% of your employees. You do need to be in business for at least 1 year, and you have to be ready with a product or service to export.
So you don't have to have already made international sales?
No, you don't. You can be brand new to export. You can be also a company just further breaking into a market you've already started exploring. Either type of company is okay. You can be in any industry, and you don't have to show a profit to be qualifying for this program.
Wow. So what type of checks do you guys give out?
Yes, so there's two type of programs that fall under STEP. The first type is the trade shows. So every year, the state of Colorado selects a number of trade shows to host a booth at.
Not last year.
Not, of course, not last year. We were not traveling anywhere. But when you're able to travel, Colorado does have a booth. We invite companies to exhibit with us. So we'll cover all of the cost of kind of being at that international trade show, and then we give them a travel stipend as well to join us. Yeah, it's a pretty nice setup, especially for those companies who have to make business decisions and sometimes cut out those trade shows because they are expensive to attend.
Mm-hmm. Totally. So if a business owner is listening to this and they might think that they don't qualify because of a particular industry, why don't you cover a couple industries that you find work really well in exporting their services or product?
Yeah, the industries we've seen come through the STEP program are honestly very diverse. Obviously, a lot of advanced industries, because that is what is here in Colorado. They often do well taking their products abroad, especially if they've went through Katie's program. They've kind of went through the rigorous steps already and are ready to take things abroad.
And they have the resources, because the AI grant has some great resources too.
Exactly. But, you know, we have a lot of other companies. Food products are very popular. We have a beauty skincare company that's doing really well in Europe. A lot of breweries take their products abroad, sell their beer abroad. They do well. So I don't think it's the type of business that makes you successful. It really is your commitment and the company's commitment to going international that makes the difference.
Mm. And I'm sure going international can be intimidating, and I'm sure there's barriers. What type of resources beyond just funding does your office offer to help those businesses?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked, because in the spring we are actually going to start hosting Export 101 training. And this will be for businesses that have always thought about international sales but don't know where to start. don't know where to even look in terms of countries and aren't sure exactly what they need, this will be a perfect course. It'll probably be about an 8-hour training. And after that, they'll be more confident that they know what they need to do in order to go into a new market. We also have a U.S. Export Assistance Center here in Denver, and they are also a great resource for companies who aren't sure about what markets to choose. They can do market research for your individual company and let you know what are the best ones to enter first.
That is a great service because, I mean, if you think about it, there's what, 260, 270 different countries in the world. Where do you start? So it's a really good service. I can see that being very valuable.
Yeah, exactly. And it is overwhelming, and that's why there are so many resources out there to help companies figure that out. No one should be figuring this out alone, especially not a small company.
So if that's not enough, you guys do even more, right?
Yes, we do. So we do have a network of global consultants. They are on our team just for Colorado companies to help break into different markets. Things that they can offer would be market research reports for someone who's exploring a brand new country. They can do in-country partner introductions. They can find new distributors or buyers if that's what you're looking for. And oftentimes they'll help with translation as well. If not in person or on your Zoom calls, depending on how you're setting up these meetings. There's a lot of great ways to get your company ready to go into the market whenever we're allowed to travel again.
That is awesome. And just to give you a side story from my grad school days, I had this really cool international marketing professor who brought a unnamed cola company to China. Now, they had a huge snafu because they wanted to have an ad that said, blank cola will raise your spirits, right? Unfortunately, they didn't understand context. And it actually said, blank cola will raise your dead ancestors. So context and understanding different cultures is very important. So I recommend any business who's thinking about going international, don't make the mistake of that cola company. Seek out Nicole and have them help you with getting into other countries' markets.
Yes, please.
So Katie, in addition to the AI grants, you guys have other grants that can really help businesses. There's a new one that's having a application opening soon. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, great, Tallis. This grant is also part of the Advanced Industry Program. It's called the Collaborative Infrastructure Grant. So it opens on February 1st with an April 1st deadline. And these grants are for large-scale projects that build out a statewide asset, and it has multiple collaborative partners and then a really strong sustainability plan. So we're excited to offer funding for that. The total amount of funding that we'll be providing in this grant cycle will be around $3 million. So if you're interested in that funding, please reach out. I'm happy to discuss your project with you.
Wow, that sounds really cool. What type of projects would you like to apply?
So one example that we've funded in the past is a consortium at the Colorado School of Mines called ADAPT, which is the Alliance for the Development of Additive Processing Technologies. And it's in partnership with, again, Colorado School of Mines, Ball Aerospace, Lockheed Martin, and they really built out again, a consortium around 3D printing where they characterize different metals and then share that data open source. So Colorado companies can participate, they can get access to that data. And so that was a really exciting infrastructure project that we funded back in 2015 when 3D printing was sort of emerging. Companies were deciding, like, should we make this investment? Should we not? We don't really understand how to use this. And so this data really can help inform companies that are involved in that type of project.
Absolutely. And I wonder if there was a impact to the company that recently received AI grants in the aerospace vertical for additive manufacturing.
Hmm. Yeah, that company specifically does, I think, participate in the consortium. So I think that they're, thought leaders and involved in that. So they're able to, I think, help inform with what they're doing in terms of large scale additive manufacturing.
It's cool to be able to see it go full circle from being part of one program and then using that benefit to go into another program.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, honestly, I think that's what's, really powerful about the program as well, because oftentimes we see those initial ideas that are funded at a university through our proof of concept, those projects through their, R&D development will then spin out a company, and then they sort of graduate and get funded through the early stage capital and retention program, which is really great because it helps them scale and grow their company after they've validated their idea. And then, you know, infrastructure, that grant is not necessarily for specific companies to build out their company infrastructure, but it definitely builds out different opportunities where then those companies can potentially participate in something that is, a statewide asset. So yeah, it's sort of the graduation of companies growing, and then of course with Nicole's program, when they're ready to export, then they get their products and technologies abroad, which is extremely important and impactful for Colorado.
Absolutely. Now, all of this doesn't happen unless you have applicants and judges, right?
That's right. Yeah. So we're always encouraging people to apply, so that we have a really great applicant pool. This is a highly competitive process, but if certainly you're interested in applying, reach out. I'm happy to have a conversation with you, discuss what your product or your technology is, or even just connecting you with outside resources. We do work with all of our advanced industry trade associations in the 7 respective advanced industries. So, if there's something that I can't help you with, they're a great resource for you to connect with outside of our office. And in addition to that, we also are always looking for subject matter experts, business, technical, financial experts in each of the 7 industries. So if you're interested in participating in the program, we'd love to have you connect with our office. We can certainly see if it's a good fit for you so that you can, participate and volunteer and help the Colorado entrepreneurial ecosystem thrive.
Yeah, and having participated in last time around, I can say that it was not only fun, but it was very informative. I learned a lot from all the different subject matter experts. I thought it was fascinating. I had a great time. I highly recommend anyone to who is qualified to apply to become a judge.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, again, I think that it is a fun and engaging process. I think you get exposed to a lot of different technology development that's happening, not just in the Front Range, but across the entire state. And there's a lot of emerging technologies that come out of each sector. And so I think that people that have been in the industry for a really long time get to see this really exciting new innovation that's happening. And I think that it's a fun day. I think so, but I'm biased.
Well, I concur with you. I think it was a very fun day. If all the things that we talked about wasn't enough, your office is also involved with COVID recovery. Do you want to discuss some of the future initiatives that your office is doing to help businesses who are impacted by COVID?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Small Business Development Center is also housed within the Office of Economic Development and International Trade. And so they've really taken a lead on providing PPP loans, working alongside, the lenders and banks. And then in addition to that, with the U.S. Small Business Administration, who's overseeing some of that funding. But if you do visit our website, oedit.colorado.gov, right at the top of our website shows coronavirus, COVID, state and national resources. So I encourage everyone to visit that page where you can see different funding opportunities to help with the recovery and relief efforts.
And that includes another round of PPP, right?
Yes, absolutely. And we're certainly not certain how much funding's coming from the federal government to to our state just yet, but certainly there will be more funding. And I believe those loans just opened up within the last few weeks.
Well, it's great to see that you guys are on top of it. So whenever the federal government gets their stuff together, you guys will be ready.
Absolutely. And certainly, again, our main goal in our office is always to, if we don't have the direct resource to help find you the correct person or resource to help your small business or any type of business within the state of Colorado.
Didn't you guys do PPE as well?
Yeah, we did. So early on in COVID, when COVID was first, hitting the states and affecting Colorado, our office was involved with PPE, and there were a number of our colleagues and teammates that helped with the Colorado Mask Project to help get some of that critical, masks to different, companies. And so I think that was extremely critical. I personally worked on helping source some of the swabs and test kits to the state of Colorado. So, and then in addition to that, there's numerous divisions as well that worked directly on whether it was, manning the small business development, the hotline to help people guide them through getting loans or PPP loans and all of that. So, I think it's just been a really interesting time period for everyone. I think from a health standpoint, but even from a business standpoint. And so, our goal is just to, help continue to, support small businesses in any way that we can.
You guys are doing a great job. You certainly have a lot of things on your plate. So I'm surprised that you guys are able to deliver on so many things. So I commend you guys on all your hard work. I'm sure it wasn't easy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Definitely a team collective effort across, in our office, across all of our divisions, and among other state agencies as well.
Cool. Cut. What else should we discuss? We'll probably got another 5 or 6 minutes and we'll get to our 30-minute mark. We can always end early if we don't have content, but there's definitely more stuff that we can put in the episode if you guys would like.
Can we you might have to cut this to earlier, but like for me to
That's
talk
fine.
about deadlines or
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Is that how I want to word it? Deadlines or how to start the ball? I don't know. Something like that.
Okay, cool. So sorry. Not COVID related, I swear.
The Katie cough.
All right. So wow, we covered a lot of things today. Now, just to give everyone a little refresher, there was a lot of deadlines that are coming up, whether it's programs that are Katie's or Nicole's. So let's go over all the deadlines so that no one misses any.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So just to reiterate the upcoming deadlines, so the advanced industry proof of concept and early stage applications are open currently and are due on March 1st by 5:00 p.m. So I encourage everyone to get started on their application right away. It does take some time. And then in addition to that, on February 1st, our AI Collaborative Infrastructure Grant will open, and that has a deadline of April 1st by 5 p.m.
And for our programs, if there's a trade show a company is interested in, the applications open 2 to 3 months before the trade show is set to begin. For general funding, if a company wants to ask to do any international business development activity, that application is open from October to September. It's a first come, first served basis. So it is open right now.
Great. Well, I recommend anyone who has a business reach out to either Katie or Nicole, because between the two of them, they have a program that can help your business. And don't be too proud to not reach out, because these opportunities are there for you. So beyond just money, you guys also give education. And one of the best ways, in my opinion, to get that education during COVID is webinars. So Nicole, let's talk about the webinars that your office has.
Yeah, so we have webinars all the time on different international markets that companies might be interested in, and then specific topics. So recently we had a webinar teaching companies how to revamp their website and increase their online sales. We often pair with trade associations to review industry specific opportunities for their companies. If people are interested, the best way to keep on top of these webinars is either to follow our office on LinkedIn or to subscribe to our export newsletter, which comes out once a month, and it'll have all of those listed in them.
Great. And Katie, you guys have webinars as well, right?
Yeah, Tallis. We do occasionally offer webinars in the form of, again, just presenting information and opportunities around the Advanced Industry Program. Sometimes we'll do grant training, but in addition to that, we also do the Advanced Industry Roadshow. So when we are able to travel, we will spend a whole week on the road visiting the Western Slope, Durango, different communities, and providing outreach and, again, training. We have been able to pivot and provide that type of roadshow virtually. And also, in addition to that, if you're interested in learning more about the Advanced Industry Program, like Nicole mentioned, there's a place on our website to sign up for information from our office or for specific programs. So that's the best way to keep informed.
Nicole, Katie, thanks again. And you guys have been doing such a great job for businesses in Colorado. I recommend any business who is looking for support to reach out to you guys through your website. There's a ton of resources available. And if you're a potential judge, reach out to them too. Your experience is invaluable. Be sure to share it with other people in Colorado so we can all benefit.